Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into an incredibly cool platform called Way of Teams. But we aren't just going to look at it as a static piece of software. Instead, we're treating this as a guided, personal user guide. If you're a developer, a tech lead, or really just anyone who wants to build software without getting totally bogged down by all this setup, you are exactly who this was made for. We're going to break down exactly how this system takes your raw ideas and literally transforms them into working reality. Okay, let's dive straight in. We have 5 main stops on our onboarding user guide today. First, the software team dilemma. Second, your first 30 minutes. Third, inside the command center. Fourth, the AI engineering harness. And finally, from talking to doing. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the software team dilemma. So, before we can really appreciate the solution here, we gotta acknowledge a massive shared pain point. And I want to ask you directly, why on earth is there such a massive gap between talking about work and actually doing the work? You know the drill, right? We have an amazing kickoff meeting, everyone is pumped up, and then crickets. Days go by before any real coding happens. The biggest waste in software teams isn't bad code, it's the friction of just getting started. That exact delay is what we call the friction gap. Just look at this list of total, soul-crushing administrative busy work. Somebody has to manually decipher messy meeting notes into tickets. You got to assign roles, configure Kanban boards, draft up step-by-step plans, and then somehow try to remember what was actually decided in the room. It absolutely drains your momentum before you've written a single line of code. And this comparison right here brilliantly illustrates the problem. With the traditional approach, you are basically on your own to figure all this out. Your tools actually become obstacles. The complexity just grows unchecked, and progress, well, it feels invisible. But the Way of approach flips that completely on its head. It gives you this guided journey where your tools act as actual helpers. Complexity is managed for you behind the scenes, and your progress is highly visible right from day one. Moving right along to section 2, your first 30 minutes. Let's literally look at your very first half hour using this platform. It goes so fast. From minutes 0 to 5, all you do is explain what you want to build. Minutes 5 to 10, the system automatically creates your repositories. By minute 15, the AI engineering harness is installed. Hitting minute 20, you've written your first ticket together. Then between minutes 20 and 25, the AI agents just take over. They plan and implement it. And by minute 30, you are sitting there looking at live, working code. It's wild. Now, right around that 5-minute mark when your repos are created, something pretty clever happens. Every project gets 2 repos. One is for code, and the other is for your thoughts. The thoughts repository uses this super cool naming convention. It's called FRRD, which is short for Farad, the Swedish word for storage or warehouse. Basically, it acts as your project's centralized memory. And why 2 repos? Well, because code changes fast and is for machines. Thoughts are persistent, and they're for humans. So they stay separate, but they constantly talk to each other. So with your repos set up, you hit that 15-minute mark, and it's time to create your first ticket. This ticket is basically the doorway for the AI to start building, and it always follows a very strict, highly standardized structure. You've got the problem statement, the desired outcome, context, requirements, and finally, your acceptance criteria. Having the structure is absolutely crucial because it ensures 0 details get lost in translation. Which brings us to the absolute core value proposition here. The system handles the tooling, so you can focus purely on the problem you want to solve. You just supply the what and the why in that ticket we just talked about, and the platform handles all the incredibly complex plumbing of the how.
All right, section 3, inside the command center.
We've talked a lot about the process, but what does it actually feel like when you log in? Well, this is your world. It's a gorgeous, totally distraction-free, single-page app with this sleek, dark theme and bright orange accents. You've got a 60-pixel icon-only sidebar that keeps everything exactly 1 click away. Up top, there are live stat cards. Right above are real-time recent tickets table. And this is super handy, an embedded AI chat panel right there on the screen. And for managing your actual work, the dashboard gives you total real-time visibility through 3 distinct views. The board view is your classic draggable Kanban setup. The list view gives you a sortable table, perfect for bulk updates. And the calendar view physically maps your tickets right onto a monthly calendar. Best part? All of this syncs instantly across your entire team. But honestly, this next feature is arguably the biggest game changer, the team chat. Yes, it handles your standard real-time messaging and video calls, but with a massive twist. It has AI meeting notes that actively listen, transcribe, and then get this, automatically build your tickets, your Kanban boards, and your plans directly from the conversation. It seamlessly converts your talk into an actionable project structure without anyone manually writing up a single ticket. Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, the AI engineering harness. Let's pull back the curtain and peek under the hood at the engine powering all of this locally. I want you to look at this number, 52. That is the massive library of pre-built skills ready for your AI agent to use on your machine. And we aren't just talking basic prompts here. These are deep, complex instructions for things like researching your codebase, managing postmortems, or executing full test-driven development cycles. You don't configure them at all. You just describe what you need, and the rate skill activates automatically. And right next to that, we have 12. That's a dozen highly specialized sub-agents working tirelessly for you in the background. Because you have these 12 distinct personas handling all these different granular tasks, there is literally zero prompt engineering required from you. You just let them work. To put that into perspective, it's basically an entire engineering team living inside your machine. When a ticket is ready, the planner agent steps up and turns it into a step-by-step plan. Then the coder agent jumps in to implement it, phase by phase. Next, the reviewer agent checks that code against your acceptance criteria. And if anything bugs out, the debugger agent is right there to catch and fix it before you even notice. Next up is 5. This number represents your 5 core slash commands. We're talking commands like /create_plan, /validate_plan, or /commit. By typing just one of these, you trigger an entire instantaneous automated workflow. The agent asks a couple of quick clarifying questions, and then boom, it takes over the rest of the heavy lifting. Now, I know what you developers are probably thinking right now. Do I have to learn a whole new IDE for this? Nope, absolutely not. The harness integrates directly into whatever tool you're already comfortable with. It supports 7 different platforms right out of the gate, including Claude Code, OpenCode, and the Gemini CLI. Everything runs locally on your machine using simple markdown files, so there is zero cloud lock-in. You own your workflow. And finally, we hit Section 5, from talking to doing. So let's bring it all together and summarize this massive shift in how you work. Think about a typical kickoff meeting without Way of Teams. Somebody might take notes, maybe those get lost in a Google Doc, tasks get totally forgotten, and a week passes with zero movement. But with Way of Teams, the AI captures the whole shebang. Tickets are instantly created, assignments are set, and your Kanban board is ready to execute before you even leave the room. The source material uses a classic quote here, and it really hits the nail on the head. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The historically tedious, frustrating process of setting up and building software has now been boiled down to just taking one simple step and letting the tools carry the heavy load for you. So I want to leave you with one big question to chew on today. What problem are you trying to solve? Seriously, you don't have to stress about the repos, the boards, or the admin busy work anymore. All you need is an idea. Take that first step, dive into this user guide source material linked below, and start your journey as a builder today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll see you next time.